Sancho, get out of this football club. Lindelof and Wan-Bissaka though? Not too sure about that one. Let's talk Reds. What's happening, everybody? Adam MATIC here, outside Old Trafford, bringing you all your up-to-date info around Manchester United. No fluff, no bull, bringing it with a difference. Where do we start today? Obviously, Jadon Sancho. Everyone knows I love this guy. I mean, his antics, his actions over the last few weeks regarding Ten Hag, how he's not come out and apologised. We all know how I feel about this. I've been on TalkSport. I've been talking to quite a few people regarding Jadon Sancho. My feelings have been let known, let's say, over the last few weeks regarding Jadon Sancho. I mean, it is pretty pathetic, to be honest, for me as a player. Guys, drop your comments in below. Let me know. I mean, I have done a few clips and few videos on Jadon Sancho, but obviously I want to get more of your opinions on everything, because that's what this channel is all about. Getting your input and getting your insight into what you feel is right and what's wrong with United, because let's be honest, it's not really a fair mix at the moment, is it? It is kind of mainly bad. But yeah, just walking around Old Trafford today, it's surrounded by just nostalgia, brilliance, expertise, the best in class. But all we're talking about at the moment is what isn't working right. Jadon Sancho, I mean, more has come out regarding Jadon Sancho in terms of like what happened on that day at Arsenal. The MEN have been reporting and putting tweets out and stories regarding Jadon Sancho and what happened on that day. Hannibal Megre, Dango, players like this, young youth players who put in everything in front of Ten Hag in the training sessions leading up to the Arsenal game, reported, is why Ten Hag felt it bad to not put them players in ahead of Jadon Sancho. And that's the reason Jadon Sancho was dropped. He wasn't given as much as a youth team player was. On his wages and his stature, Ten Hag has to set standards, surely. And that's what's been talked about a lot today. Jadon Sancho not putting the effort in, and the reasons why have come out in the news. And there's a bit more detail on it now. I mean, Jadon Sancho, I think he's been sort of made to look like this guy who is suffering, and we need to take everything serious when it comes to mental health and everything like that. But Jadon Sancho, in terms of a professional, I'm not having it. I'm really not. I'm disappointed in Sancho. I think he has been unprofessional. And now we're hearing as well, again from the MEN, that a lot of his teammates think that Jadon Sancho is now wrong in this situation, that he should apologise to Ten Hag. When your teammates are saying that, then there's something really is going wrong, isn't it? I mean, come on, Jadon. Pull your finger out, mate, and do what's right. Or, what I want to know is, do you actually think he should be at the club? And Dortmund apparently are interested. That's come out in the Times. Contact has been kept between Dortmund and Jadon Sancho. The problem we've got is, if we was looking to sell Jadon Sancho in January, this would be a cut down price, cut down wages. Would we accept it? Can we accept it? Can we afford to accept it? Is probably the bigger question in all of this. But ultimately, I think Jadon Sancho now is looking for a pathway out of Manchester United. Now, if you remember what I said in my previous video, that pathway that the football club is looking at in terms of letting players go, making space in the squad for future signings for Ten Hag possibly, this under maybe to Jim Radcliffe, we will see. But ultimately, the pathway is there for Jadon Sancho to leave. But not just, what's your head start here? Not just Jadon Sancho. We're looking at contract extensions, but not the contract extensions you would think around Wan-Bissaka and Victor Lindelof. Now, that's the other news coming out today, what I found really interesting and what people probably need a little bit more information on. Like I said, no bull, no fluff. A little bit more detail on other topics that are going on at Manchester United right now. Lindelof and Wan-Bissaka, they're up next. So what of Messrs Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Victor Lindelof, you might ask? Why are you bringing them up into it? I mean, like I said, back in that last video I did, the pathway that is being paid by the football club, this is even before Sir Jim Radcliffe comes into Manchester United, is of shifting out players, big marquee signing, well, not so much marquee, but superstars in their words, sat on the bench, earning big wages, costing Manchester United and having no impact on the team whatsoever. How many times have I said this? How many times have I said, look at these players that are blocking the pathways, the important pathways from our youth system, which is prospering right now and is doing well. But they've got no chance whatsoever of getting into the first team. Jump back from the previous clip that I did in this video. Gore, Megre, Ten Hag, putting them ahead of Jadon Sancho. One of them stars sat on the sideline earning massive money. He's not willing to put the effort in. There you go. That's what I'm getting at. That's the important thing in all of this. So for me, I'm looking at this and I'm going, what the club is doing is right. But what players are going to fall victim of it? Victor Lindelof and Aaron Wan-Bissaka are both entering their last years now of their contracts. And now, as always, with Manchester United, they have that extra year added on that they can trigger to actually keep the player at Manchester United for another season without costing them any extra money, no hike in wages whatsoever in the contract. And there you go. 2 more players, done and dusted, put to bed for another year. Now, Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Victor Lindelof are in that category of players. Big players, expect to be playing first-team football, sat on the sidelines mainly. I mean, you could argue Aaron Wan-Bissaka, but do these players deserve a new contract? Are Manchester United looking to cut corners, cut costs again? Could Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Victor Lindelof both be on the chopping block past this 1-year contract extension? Because you look at there's so many players that have been on Manchester United's books that have got this 1-year extension. David De Gea, namely one, another big superstar you thought has got no chance of this happening to him. So if it can happen to him, it can happen to Aaron, it can happen to Victor as well. And then out the door the following season. Because in that pathway, and if you look into the details and the plans for Manchester United, again, like I said, without Sir Jim even coming in, this is already set in stone. And like I said in that last video, this is something that the football club are looking at anyway and was already put in place. So Sir Jim is walking into this. And if he's backing Ten Hag, which is looking like it already is the case, again, ifs, buts and maybes, and if Sir Jim takes over, but this is a fact and this is a definite what has been put in place. We've seen players leave on 3 contracts. This is what could happen in another year's time with Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Is there any sell-on value for Victor Lindelof? No, I would say. Not much, considering we paid 40 million for him, a few years ago, quite a long time ago now. I would say definitely not for Victor Lindelof. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, still at that age, 25, 30 million. I would say, and this is where I want your input and your comments below, everyone, Wan-Bissaka out of them 2 probably is one that I would keep. I don't think he's performed badly. I think he's done well. I think he's got better under Ten Hag. And I think he's actually started to turn things around at Manchester United to a point where at last season, I actually had him ahead of Dalot in my starting lineup. So for me, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, yes, Victor Lindelof. But interesting news how both of them players today have got them 1-year extensions possibly being muted, added or triggered on their contracts. That's what's interesting with Manchester United right now. Everything else is stuff that you've already heard of. The takeover isn't going to happen. Hearing plenty of opinions. I've gave mine. There's no need to go any more into it. But yeah, thankfully, now we can start looking ahead to weekend because it's time to start putting pressure on the players again. Ultimately, where we have been failing drastically as well. Let's forget about what's going on up there and let's talk about what's going on inside on that pitch, because that's what matters now over the next few weeks. What will be with the takeover. Let's not forget who has been failing as well so far this season. And I include Ten Hag in this. He has to pull his finger out and has to do a little bit more. So for me, definitely, Ten Hag, the players, the focus needs to switch back on them now because they need to start getting things right. For God's sake, the derby's coming up. The Champions League is back. These are big, big games, big, big nights that Manchester United have to start turning up in. But let me know. Get your comments in on below. Let me know what I think. Let me know what you think about Jadon Sancho. Lindelof and Wan-Bissaka, 1 year's left on each one of them deals. They're being talked about at the moment. Do any of them deserve a new deal? Are you happy to see both go? Make room. Clear that pathway, as I say. Like, share and subscribe if you are tuning into the channel. Cheers for all your support, everybody. Absolutely loving it. Adam MATIC signing out.